Welcome to the Rock Shop Community Podcast. My name is Dylan Kelehan, and this is Norvin Van Dunk. What's up, Norvin? Welcome.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Sure, man. Happy to have you. We live in a community together in Nyack, New York, and we know each other kinda.
Yeah.
But I love to take this opportunity here and ask you some questions. And
Is this like, I'm
fine.
just like focused.
Whatever you want to do. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
However, whatever makes you feel comfortable.
I'll move so we can actually have a conversation.
Sure. This is kind of in the way here,
Yeah.
but we'll do our best.
Yeah.
We'll do our best. But yeah, man. So I know you're a musician. You go as Tron The Archer.
Yep.
As your name, and you have a gig tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll be at Olive's, normal stomping grounds for us, everyone over here. Mm-hmm. They're doing a battle of the bands, but I'm just down to play.
Right.
I think there's like a cash prize. I don't know what the voting is. I don't know, but it's it'll be a good show. It's a Sunday. It starts kind of early, which is good.
Yeah.
For us older folk.
Yeah. with young kids.
And yeah, I'm excited. It's like I always do this thing where I book stuff and then the week coming up to it, I'm like, yeah, I forgot I had that thing. But I'm excited for after because I'm going to start recording.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you had like a regimen of what you were going to ask or whatever, but I was basically two of the things I was going to prop up were the recording and tomorrow's gig.
Great. And what are you doing at the gig? I know you're a musician, but you're going to be like DJing to tracks.
So what I typically do is, me and my brother, we used to have a DJ, and then I'll have the tracks that I produce and mix myself or whatever, and then we play and we rap over them. Typical hip hop stuff. Haven't had a band quite yet or anything. I mean, I would in the future, but that's how we usually do it.
Cool. And you produce the tracks with do you do programming, live recording?
Yeah, I do a mix because I'm just like, I'm a producer at the end of the day. Like you give me a cup and a speaker, I'm going to make something happen. So like when I record and when I produce, I'll use software. I typically use Reason, which I've been using for like 15 years. But if there's a sound I like somewhere else, I'll just, as long as you can record it, I'll put it in. Like I've played guitar on stuff, I've played drums on stuff, whatever I can use to, I'm not like solely contained into the software, but, whatever I can use.
Right on. So that's where whatever you have, but the software is the kind of engine of it.
Yeah. I like Reason because it has a lot of the plugins and software for like sounds already in it. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to buy a lot of stuff, like extra stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I just turn it on and I can do whatever I want.
Right on. And do you use MIDI controllers?
Yeah. Typically, sometimes if I'm in a pinch, I can just do things with the trackpad or plug things in. Mm-hmm. They have one of the things about Reason I like is whatever I have in my brain, I can pretty much get out,
It's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much you can do with it creatively, and I'm a big sound design guy, so I'll spend more time on the sound than the actual melody usually.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. So for people who don't know what we're talking about, it's you can use kind of a keyboard or even a grid to create instruments and sounds using particular mediums, such as you could say, make this sound like an organ, and then you kind of tell it what to play.
Yeah, with the MIDI, it's essentially just any type of controller. Like you can have a pad. Yeah. You can even have, knobs. Mm-hmm. And then, everyone learns keyboard to do production. So that's what you're mostly going to use as a keyboard. They do have MIDI guitars, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever.
They're cool, actually.
Yeah. I'm like, what? All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, anything you can I've seen people control sounds with, plants.
Right.
They'll do a bunch of, they'll do wires to bananas or something and touch it. Because you can trigger anything. As long as you get that trigger note.
Right.
It's going to hit C.
Right.
So you could do a,
it's
going to hit C.
Yeah. Whatever
anyway,
instrument you want.
So that's a great thing about MIDI. And I think that's one of the things that, with music production, it's been around forever. It's not, I don't think that's going to change. One of the things that won't change, but maybe.
Maybe we're AI proof. Maybe.
I mean,
live performance will never go away.
Yeah, no.
That's what's for sure. And I think one-on-one music lessons, which, by the way, Norvin teaches production here at the Rock Shop. If you want to learn more about what we're talking about here, you got to come see this guy. He's a wizard, and he's a great teacher, patient, and will show you how to hook up a plant to
that I have not, but we did do this one thing that I always tell people when I do teach. I tell kids, it's not about the programming; it's about using whatever you got. So then that's what I learned when I went to Mercy College for music. So one of the things they had us do was literally just record our voice, and then we had to make all our sounds from that voice.
Oh, that's cool.
So you had to chop it up, distort it, do whatever you could to make kicks, snares, the bass lines, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of just teaches you that it's not really about, what's in the computer. It's like you use whatever you got.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. So if you got bananas and you got a few wires, there you go. That's real production right there. It's not you're not held to, oh, I only use this program. You don't have my program, I can't make music. Like a real musician, you hand them anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's why I try to be just like a producer. Yeah.
That's mad fun. Mad fun. I actually went to college for production too, believe it or not, but it's something that I got into, but I realized so much more that I was much more interested in making the, the guitar or the bass or the drums and physically doing them and performing them.
Yeah.
But, so you said you play guitar, you play drums, you play keyboard.
I am not like a traditional player. I'll do a melody and I'll chop it and loop it. Okay. That's why I stress the production aspect, because it's I'm gonna produce something.
Right.
I'm not gonna, I can't play a whole song
typically.
And the thing is, I've always wanted to, but I just I have guitars in my house, keyboards in my house, and it's just one of those things I got so good at doing on a computer. And sometimes you get frustrated when I can't even play Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I'm let me just make a hot beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. But I do see myself wanting to get back into non-computer things. That's the thing. I feel it's always grass is greener. There are people that are oh, I need to learn how to use this. And I'm you don't need that. And I already know how to use it. I'm I just want to be able to do, you know?
Right.
But, we're still young. We can, I can learn, and I have the tools. I could come down here, learn, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but that's the thing. Another thing, you're always learning. You're always got shit to learn.
Right. That's the best part about music. It's just a never-ending journey.
Yeah.
But so speaking of having keyboards and guitars and stuff in your house, you and I both, I live in Valley Cottage, technically just over the Nyack line.
Right.
I'm desperate to get back to town so I can walk around. You live here in Nyack, in town, right?
Yes. And I have lived in Valley Cottage, and I know what that's like, because people think, oh, you're close enough. And it's you don't understand. I lived on Brookside, which is right by the thruway, and I wasn't close enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's being in town is different. It's kind of spoiled. It's oh, you could just walk, because people in the city walk everywhere. But being around the corner from Art Cafe or something is that's different than even Valley Cottage. You know what I mean?
I do.
But Valley Cottage is still great. It's just that there's a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't move there on purpose, which sounds weird. It's just something just fell into my lap.
Yeah. I mean, and kids wise, the kids still go to Nyack.
Yep.
So that's why I lived in Valley Cottage from 8th grade till I graduated high school. So before that, Nyack, Valley Cottage, and back to Nyack as an adult. So it's different, but it's still the same.
Right.
As long as, that's why, if once I'm looking for a house or something, if I can't get Nyack, I'm definitely going to look at Valley Cottage for sure.
Yeah. So I was keen to ask you this, because I don't know this about you. So you just revealed that you are in effect a Nyack native, and you grew up here.
36 years.
Nice. And you live here as an adult. And I mean, something I really find fascinating about this place is I feel it has an incredible magnetic energy to it. And it just feels to me, of course, I live here, so I feel this is the greatest place to live in the world.
Yeah.
I really do. Do you feel the same way?
I do, but I feel when you say it like that, and I'll say that too, it just makes you sound crazy, because it's well, have you lived anywhere else? And it's But from experience, I mean, you got to think about where we live strategically.
Yeah.
Where we have so much access to different walks of life just 30 minutes away.
Right.
So it's not like we're just stuck in the middle of nowhere and don't know what's going on. Right. Like we know the greatest city in the earth. We know the beaches in Jersey. We know the country upstate. You know what I mean? Like there's Pennsylvania, there's Connecticut. So it's like, it's not that we don't know our surroundings. We just know that where we're comfortable and what the people that we know the best and familiar with. And like a lot of people that I went to high school with, did you go to Nyack?
No.
So a lot of people I went to high school with end up coming back.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people are like, no, I got to get out of my hometown. Like people from Nyack are like, nah, everywhere else. I've been everywhere else. I'm coming back. Like they'll bring their kids here. Everyone's coming back and they're like, I'm going to raise my kids here. So for me, I did, I obviously wanted to move into the city. I was doing gigs in the city, crashing on couches. And then, life happens. You have a family. And then it's like, well, might as well just stick around. So, close enough to New York City to keep doing gigs. But, that's why I didn't move anywhere else. But, and you meet people and you're like, and then you meet people from Nyack. And then you're like, oh yeah, no, that's a Nyack person. It's just strange. And in Rockland, every town is different.
Yeah.
So like I say again, it's not like you don't know different walks of life. Like you go 10 minutes up, Stony Point is way different than Nyack, and like New City is way different.
Yep.
And even Orangetown and Orangeburg, like we're still, the diversity is really crazy. So you do know the difference. You can't just say I've only been here. I only know this is the best. It's like, I've seen some stuff and this is pretty good.
Yeah. You know what I found out from doing this podcast, which is again, like an accidental education, is that Rockland County is actually mirrors the diversity of the country.
Yeah.
So the demographics almost line up perfectly.
Yeah.
As far as, different races, ethnicities, cultures, etc.
Everything.
And I think that's amazing. So,
and that's why people from here are pretty much like, you go somewhere else and you may even mention the word Jewish to someone and they're like, wait, what? Those people? And it's like, what? Like,
yeah, we do.
Yeah. Like, everybody like, and that's what I like. I like walking out of my house and seeing different types of people. I love seeing black people when I walk out of my house because it's just like what I grew up with. And I think that I didn't realize how that was for me because I've always been in Nyack. So that was normal for me. Like, I don't know how I would feel if I lived somewhere and I stepped out of my house and didn't see people like me.
Right.
I don't know what that's like.
Right.
At all.
Right.
So it's like, I'm kind of like, I like this.
Yeah.
Very But one thing I did notice from living here forever is, I live in town. So I want to leave my house to go get a soda or something in like Crocs and like sweatpants. And people are looking at me like, where the hell is this guy? Like, Nyack is now like, oh, I'm getting dressed to go into town now. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I live right here. Like, and I feel like I get that kind of like, should I have put like clothes on? You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things like now. And I'm like, it never used to be like that, but it's fine. It's,
Interesting. See, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that at all.
I'm like walking a dog in like a dirty sweatshirt and a long tee just because I'm like getting out of my house just to go around the corner. And like, people are like, this guy lives here? And it's like, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but.
No, I think you're right now that you say it. And, I guess it's because the community is so small. As soon as you leave your house, it's almost like a presentation because everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, but I'm the kind of
But there's newer people is what I'm saying.
A lot of
like, which is fine. It's just that they don't, like, they might not have seen me before.
Right.
Like, so it's like, they don't know that I live right on the corner.
Right.
So it's like, and and when I assume, and if I see someone coming out in their pajamas, I'm like, oh, they must live like next door. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but then you see people in pajamas that are like, oh, what the hell?
Right. So since you've been here for 36 years, how has Nyack, I mean, we just talked about all the new people here. For people who don't know, the pandemic brought in a lot of families, young families from Brooklyn. And I think it's an awesome thing. But what do you think being a Nyack? Tell me a little bit about how it changed from year 0 to year 36. Walk me through it.
I mean, I would say one of the biggest changes obviously is from like the wild of the nightlife. Like last night was, I walked around last night. It was cool. I think it's way tamer than it used to be.
Well, somebody peed in my doorway over there.
Oh, we still got that going on? All right, well.
This morning.
It happens. But back in the day, remember, you used to just be able to walk up and down and like the streets were filled, which is cool at the time. Like now we're older. It's like, all right, I can handle the calm. But like, Casa was bumping and like people are outside. So it's getting back, I think, from the pandemic. But, as you can see, like back in the day, it was like, people came here to party.
2010 to maybe even earlier, like 2009 to 2019.
Yeah, when I started drinking is like, that was the prime.
It was
like,
prime.
Yeah, like, and which is fine. It doesn't need to be like that now because I wouldn't be able to handle it. but that's definitely a big change. Obviously, the rent is fucking. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I curse?
You can curse. Yeah,
okay.
Whatever.
The rent's fucking ridiculous. My first apartment was $1,300. That apartment's I think maybe like 28 right now.
That's not even horrible.
I mean, in the time it's been.
Yeah.
And my first apartment was 10 years ago.
Yeah. That's unreal.
Yeah.
So that's changed.
Yeah. My parents got priced out. Like people are getting priced out. And it sucks. I think that if you grew up somewhere and you contributed to the community and you work here, you live here, you raise your kids here, you should be able to stay here. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
And I'm not saying like, people can't make their money. It's just like, there should be at least a flexibility of places to live. Like, it's like, I can't live here if I'm not paying $2,500 a month. Like that's kind of like only certain types of people can live here vibes.
Right.
There should be like some more, like we have affordable housing, but then it's also like, no, it's got to be like, you don't make anything, which is like fine too, but where's the middle ground?
Right.
I
agree.
The new people moving in, I actually like them because, we go out and we play and it's kind of like a lot of those type of people, like people who are like more artsy and stuff like that. Some of my people that, I'm a huge, people like to say that I'm like the unofficial mayor sometimes, but it's like some of the people I don't like in Nyack are some of these people that have been here longer than me. The people that are like, I don't like anything new and like don't want like loud and rowdiness. Like those are the people that I'm like, no, we need kind of like more of just like a creator's vibe and like, young artists and families and stuff. Like some of these people are moving from the city are like great friends of mine already.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm like kind of a young parent.
Yeah.
So a lot of the parents in my daughter's like class are older. So some of these people are my age with families. So I'm like in that realm where it's like, if you're younger than me, you might still be out partying all the time.
Yeah.
But if you're older than me, then you're like talking about like owning multiple properties. And I'm like, I can't like mix with any of these folks. So some of these people are my age with families. So I actually relate to them a lot more. But yeah, I mean like, the food, one of the things I don't like, I like having a good lineup of the choices of food. And I feel like for a while we had a lot of empty storefronts and stuff like that. And we still have a couple. I want to see it filled up, man, like racked up. Yep. Like I want to be able to walk around like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Not like, let's just go to OVI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I do.
And anytime anyone comes through, I'm always like, you gotta hit me up when you come through Nyack. You know what I mean? Because then I'll like show them like all the stuff. And another thing is music. We used to play a lot more, I think, more spots. Like now it's like, especially with hip hop, it's tough, but I feel like I can only play around like 2 or 3 places here.
Yeah.
And especially for original music, I think that there should be more spots for that, of course.
I got you. Don't worry. Give me a few years.
Yeah. I mean, we could come back here. You know what I mean? Like cram it up, like play something back here. I don't care.
I plan on opening a music venue.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. We got an announcement here.
Not quite. Give me 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Because I, like you, also noticed that there's a lot of artsy, very nice, young city people that moved here.
Yeah.
But like you, I also have young kids.
Yes.
So we're not going out.
Yeah.
We're just not doing it.
Oh, and like what you guys are doing here is like you're creating the scene, I think, and these kids are going to want to play.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you're creating a whole scene of kids. And like I was going to Andromeda. You know about Andromeda?
Yeah, it was
up the
awesome.
street. Again, that's how like me and my brother used to play spots like that all the time.
Yeah.
Just like kids in a spot. Just
DIY.
give us walls, 4 walls.
Yep.
And I loved it. And then they're actually moving up the street, which is good because at least they got a new spot in town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they need a place to play. These kids need a place to play their original music, play their metal, their hardcore, their whatever punk. Like, and it's funny because we just gave, Coheed and Cambria the key, and it's like, these are the Coheed and Cambrias of the next generation. Yes, like, sir. You got to have somewhere for them to play.
Yes, sir.
How are you going to be like, hey, we love Coheed and Cambria, but we're not going to have, the rowdy rock and hardcore anymore with the young kids. Like, kids need somewhere to play. And the biggest complainers of people about kids not being able to go outside and do things they used to do are the people who don't let them play music outside loud. What do you want them to do?
Right. Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Please. No, I agree with you so much. And I'm sure you remember from like 2010 through 2019, we had a thing going here music wise. It kind of died off actually in like 2018 because the price out situation started to happen.
There was me and my brother would, we played out, but we would always be able to come here. There's so many places that, like, our first show was at, what was it called? Not the Broadway. Something. It was a bar. This is like they closed like before even like
the old fashioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was our first show. I never even went there as like a drinker. Like, I think I was still in like high school.
Yeah.
There was this place, like, there were so many random spots. There's this place called Indigo Plateau. Yep. Remember that?
Yep.
Was that what it was called? No, Indigo Paradise.
Indigo Paradise.
And then, there was just like so many random spots, but we need that. And I think that, and then like bars are hard, like one time we had a gig of like Poorhouse and it was terrible and like Bourbon Street and like, I don't like playing bars like that.
It's gross.
It's just people are there drinking. They're here to hear me. You need somewhere where it's like, I'm here to hear music.
Yep.
I walked in the door because I want to hear music.
Yep.
And
like Maureen's.
Oh, I mean, like I'm so glad we have that. I mean, I don't go as much, but I'm glad it exists.
I agree with you.
I'm not there yet. I'm Andromeda style.
Nice. Yeah. I played there once, and I'll just say that was the last time I'll play there.
Well, it's jazz. It's a jazz.
Yeah. I play the Turning Point now. That's great.
Okay. Yeah.
Great spot.
I've been there.
Great spot. But yeah, I do plan on opening a venue for them.
Cool.
I'm in the process of considering what I'm doing is kind of growing my future customers.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a big plan. It's but I'm not ready. I'm going to 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And I'll have it going. But speaking of 5-10 years, I really think because of all the new
not
people,
even 10, dude.
Yeah, maybe. But because of all the new people with young families, you and I, we're not going out.
No.
We're with our families.
I'm going to be buried here. I always say that joke. I say they're going to roll me. They should do a ramp from Nyack Hospital to the graveyard to the next. And then once I'm dead in the bed, they just roll me across Midland into the grave.
Yeah. But and we're going to have a renaissance, man. We're in the middle of.
I'm ready because you know what? It took me a little bit because, with me and my brother, we were on a label and we were doing it and we were playing festivals and we had a record, and the pandemic really kind of like took a jab to that.
Awful.
The pandemic took a jab to a certain demographic of bands where if you weren't able to last it either made you just like totally revamp or like, because we didn't start doing TikToks or nothing. We were just like, we don't have gigs. We're not even seeing each other.
Yeah.
Because we're not leaving our houses. And that was like right after our second album, which did really well. And we had the beer that came out with it from Defiant. We had the beer that came out with it, and it was in stores and was in bars. We had Redman on the album. We had Travis Stever on the album. We were getting press. We were getting Stereogum, all this stuff. Then the pandemic was just like, over, and like me and my brother stopped the label. We didn't do anything more with the label, and then it took me a few years to really find the love for it again, and not stress the business aspect, because we were like, hey man, we could make something happen out of this when we were doing it, you know what I mean? Like we had people showing up and all this stuff, and once that's out of your head, it's like, damn, why am I doing it? But then you remember why you're doing it. And it's when you see the young kids and when you see the Andromedas and you see these places and you have kids coming and wanting to learn production. I have 2 kids going to Mercy that I taught, and I'm like, you should go to Mercy. And they're like, they visit and they're like, oh, I'm going.
Sick.
Yeah. And, that type of stuff, when you see that, it reminds you of why you do it. Because these kids are just doing it. They don't know. They're not getting handed, checks or anything yet. They're just like, I'm just going to do this. And it's like, I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm back. I'm ready.
Nice.
This is why I was going to talk about the album, because it's something that, excuse me, I am actually putting out on a label. So it's like, before that, I put out some stuff, but it wasn't. And I feel like I needed the motivation. Like, I didn't want to be like, oh, I need a label. But it was like, I didn't have any deadlines. And like, I'm the type of someone that needs that structure kind of. Like, it's like, hey, got to put this out because we're going to do this with it. Instead of just like put it out and then like wait for views to come in. So my label right now is Mint 400. It's based out of New York City, New Jersey. And they're doing pretty well now too. A lot of the bands on there are getting a lot of press, and like the dude in charge, Neil, and he's great. He wanted to work with me for a while, and I told him like straight up, I think after the pandemic, he wanted to put out my album, and I said I don't have it, like, because it was like I didn't have the oomph.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm ready. Like after like 4 years from the Tron and DVD disband. And then Tron to DVD, well, he actually might put out some stuff soon too. So
killer.
A lot of shit's happening.
That's great. Where'd you get the name Tron the Archer?
So it's funny because it's like the most non-hip hop thing ever. It's actually based off of a Taylor Swift song because we're both Sagittarius. And we're born on the same day, so me and Taylor Swift are like birthday buddies. So she has a song called "The Archer," based on her zodiac sign, and I'm Tron the Archer.
Oh, I see, the Sagittarius.
Yeah, but I was always Tron. I've always been Norvatron since high school as like a nickname. Like some people know me as Tron and don't even listen to my music. So it's like I've always been the Tron, Norvatron 5000.
That's amazing.
Jonathan Archibald,
Yeah. And is your brother like a part of the whole thing always, or is it sometimes just you?
No. Well, when we started out, it was always us. And we always did solo stuff too. Like I tell people this all the time. If you saw like the things that I've actually done in my discography, you would be like, holy shit. Like I'll show you a folder of all my different albums and mixtapes with different groups of my brothers or my cousins or like other friends. So we like intertwine all these like different projects. Like Tron to DVD has stuff. I have stuff. We have a bigger group that has stuff. So it's never really me or him at this point. It's either like us and me at some point. And the music is different. It's not just like, when I work with him, it's definitely a Tron and DVD sound. I work with myself. It's like, oh, this is my sound by myself. Yeah.
Is he going to be involved in the new album?
I'll have a verse for him for sure. Usually when I do features, it's like spots that I don't feel like writing to.
Okay.
So I'll be like, who could I put there?
Yeah.
But he has something coming out and it's like, doesn't even involve me at all. And I hate that. I'm like, where are these beats coming from? Like, I have beats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes they're like, do you have beats? And I'm like, why are they always asking me for beats?
Older or younger?
I have an older brother. I have a younger brother. And they both rap. My older brother taught me how to rap and brought me into the whole hip hop thing.
Got it. And it's the younger brother you do stuff with, though?
Yeah. Well, we all do stuff, but Tron and DVD as the unit, that's me and my brother. He's DVD. I'm Tron.
Any other siblings?
No, just those two.
So it's just the three of you guys there.
Yeah.
And you guys born in all
Grew
three?
up in Nyack,
all
yeah.
three. So you're just not. Where are your brothers now?
My younger brother is in Connecticut, and then my older brother is in Congress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. So you're just Rockland thick and through.
Yeah. I mean, I love it.
845.
Yeah. Like, I like to get out too, but it's like, if you can hit the beach in an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then you can also hit a cabin upstate in an hour or two.
Yeah.
Where else do you really need to go?
Pocono Mountains, an hour and a half. Connecticut beaches, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
NYC, 20 minutes.
I mean, obviously, I say that from an affordability standpoint. Obviously, if I could afford to like go to Italy or something, I probably would. But if I do need to take a trip for not much money, I could.
Right. And speaking of that, I know you. Last I spoke with you about this, you were working on a movie. Is that right?
Yeah. So how I pay the bills is I'm a set dresser. Props person for movies and TV. That's another reason why I stay here, because that work isn't really prominent in other areas.
Right.
So You know, the working is really New Jersey, New York City, Brooklyn, Queens, like upstate sometimes. So that's what I do. I've been doing that for about 7 years now.
How'd you get that?
So like it's through a union, and they sometimes open it up. And at the time, it was years ago, like right when we dropped our first album, it was like, I remember I was working at Hartel's, and we had our album posted in the paper. We were on the cover of the paper.
Really?
Yeah.
Hartel's Deli, by the way.
RIP. We were on the cover of the paper, the Journal News, for our album, and I'm putting sandwiches together, and people are like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
God, it's struggle is real, man.
Right? And they're like, so expecting you to not be putting sandwiches together, and I'm like, "What do you think? I gotta like, you think I'm rich now?"
Right.
I also have a very funny story. So at the time, this is where I'm getting into this, how I started, because I was jobless or looking around for jobs. Like, obviously Hartel's was, you know, just what I could do at the time.
Right.
I had to get food stamps.
Yeah.
And I got denied because the lady saw my picture in the newspaper and thought that I was making money.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Wow. Bro.
I was like, yeah, but like, you know, they think the music is, I was like, it doesn't work like that. Like, I'm on an indie label. Like,
yeah, I didn't get a cash advance.
Yeah. Like, I was like, this is crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I've got denied from food stamps because I was on the cover of the Journal News.
Wow. Let's say that again.
I never told anyone that. I don't think.
Wow. Let's say that again. Norvin was denied food stamps, even though he was working at Hartel's Deli.
Working off the books, because lower minimum wage, just trying to get, you know, I had come off of, what job did I have? I had a job that, I was at the record store, but I didn't work I worked at the record store for 3 years, and they were changing, obviously doing all this stuff. So I didn't work there anymore. And, you know, I was in between jobs. So I had to do what I had to do. And while still making music.
Right.
And I couldn't, you know.
Right.
I went there.
This is important. I think what people need to really realize about being a musician is you just have to be adaptive. You never know what's coming. And for me, you know, I was also deterred big time by the pandemic, but it's just what I do. It's just, I don't care if it makes money. I don't.
Yes.
It's just what I do.
That's what
It's just what I do. If it makes money, great. And I can be an artist thick and through all the way, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to do what I have to do.
I think you make better stuff when it's not for the money.
Yeah. It's got to be for you.
Yeah.
You got to make it for you.
But also the expectation is like, it's crazy, because I don't think that people understand that being, I guess, rich off of it is an anomaly, and not like, you know, 90% of us are just doing it for the love and like doing it to pay the bills. And people see Justin Bieber's and Beyonce's and think, oh, you're a musician. Why aren't you doing that?
Right.
It's like,
well, there's a lot of levels.
Why aren't you hitting the fucking lottery right now?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people are like that, or like, it's either major label or bust. And it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know how to do anything else. I only sound like I know how to do anything when I talk about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've seen me. You've probably never heard me talk more about anything than this right now.
Of course.
Because this is just, you cut me open. It's just beats are going to come out. And my wife hates it.
Oh, no, really?
No. I could talk about two things like this. Set dressing. In movies, and like, not like, I'm not a movie buff, but I working on a movie, and music.
Right.
You ask me about anything else, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's cool.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
dimensions are important. I think I'm fascinated by a ton of things, but I can relate, because it's not that my wife hates it. She puts up with it reasonably well, but sometimes I'll go on rants, and I can just see her just like sitting there trying her best to like pretend she cares.
Well, because once it gets past the point of, is this song cool or not, versus, oh man, when he fucking hits that note and it's about like this and that, and you know that he got dropped from his label, and like and then they're looking at you like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So this is another thing. This is where I started trying to find more conversations like this, you know, Katie Elovich, right?
Yeah.
The spot around the corner. We do the songwriter circle, and it's essentially this, where we just talk about creating with other people that can't shut the fuck up about making music. And it's like, it's one of my favorite things to do now.
Nice.
Because it's just people, the money success thing is out of the window. We don't even talk about that. We just talk about making it. Like, there are people that never made anything that are there.
That's interesting.
And it's like, bro, you got to make something.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling than making something.
You got to make stuff.
Yeah.
Where and when does this take place?
So there is one this Wednesday. It's just called the Song Artist Circle. I actually hosted one. So my project was this. Like I said, I'm a production guy. I'm like, let's get shit moving. And it's not even like about money or anything. It's just about creating. So it's like, I made an exercise. There was a couple of songwriters there who have never made an album. And I'm like, we got to make an album. And like, to them, it's like, what? Oh, and I'm like, no, we're going to do it right now. Ready? You're going to make your title, and then you're going to make your songs. Like, just title the songs. Their songs don't have to exist. So we have them. They make a title of the album, and they have like 8 to 10 titles. Like, I go, do a good intro song, like one that introduces you and like stuff like that. You know, like when you're setting up an album.
Yep.
And then after we're done, they go, okay, I'm done. Here's my album. It's called, I don't know, Living My Life. And like, first track is like Night. Second track During the Day, whatever. I go, okay, do you have songs that you could put in those spots? And they go, well, yeah, I can try to find some. And then I go, okay, put the songs that you have next to those titles that you have. They'll do it. And I'm like, there you go. There's your album. Done. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and they're like, wait, I just made an album? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I do this all the time. I make my titles in my album titles before I even start writing.
Right. People don't know that. People don't know that. Like, sometimes you, for example, You Give Love a Bad Name. There's a great story about that song. It's a John Bon Jovi song.
Yeah.
The guy that produced that went down into John Bon Jovi's basement with him and Richie Sambora, and he didn't tell him the name that he had, which is You Give Love a Bad Name. It was the producer who had it. And they were putzing around trying to make some songs and some ideas, and he's kind of just watching them, and then he goes, no, okay, I'm ready. You ready for this? He goes, here's the title, You Give Love a Bad Name. And Bon Jovi goes, shot in the dark, you're to blame. You give, right there on the spot. That intro came out and that song was born. Yeah. People don't know this.
Well, because they think it's all this craziness, and they're like, you don't understand, song titles and names and ideas come from anything. And it's like, that's why the thing that stops people the most is the production aspect. It's getting in there and hitting record or being like, I'm done. So many people are scared to say I'm done. They did, because they're like, well, now it's done. People can judge it and critique it. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I go, once it's done, then you're on to the next one.
Right.
So they understand that songs can they're not hard. We've been doing this for hundreds of years, thousands. You know what I mean? Like,
or language.
I was telling people in the thing, I was like, do you think that you're sitting right there, a songwriter, one in the fucking billion, and like you're worried about making a song because all these people I was like, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
Just do it.
Look, I'll show you my folder right now. These are just compiled. These aren't even like B-sides or randoms. This is like, I guess, since I had a computer to record on, my finished music. Like, these are all albums.
That's insane.
All titles, tracks, like, that are made and like I put out.
Right.
Like,
what do you use?
Not even all of them.
What do you use to put them out?
Well, right now you can obviously do
bands and band.
I use Ditto,
GarageBand.
Oh, you mean like to record?
No. No, sorry. What's the one I'm thinking?
The service I use is called Ditto, Ditto Music, and it puts it on everything, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever.
Right.
You can use DistroKid.
Yeah, that's the one I use.
There's one called United Masters, which you can do for free. SoundCloud has one. I've always just used Ditto because I do the label account, so you could have if I put out my album for my brother or like another friend, I'll do that. But not all the stuff is on there. Right. Because some of it is like mixtape stuff where I like sampled or use instrumentals. So I don't like to try and, steal stuff like that.
Capitalize.
Yeah. Right. So I put out the stuff that has original music on it. Bandcamp.
That's the one I was
Yeah, because that one you can do anything. Yeah, you could actually do the sampled stuff.
Yeah, and you can link it right to a PayPal account, and if people actually buy it, you can actually make money.
That's another thing. Everyone's worried about streaming. It's like, bro, sell your album at $10 a pop.
Yeah.
You know how many streams it takes to get $10? Like,
yeah. I think we're in a very, very strange landscape because at 36, you were both born before the internet and during the internet. Yeah. We're some of the last people ever like that.
Yeah.
So we grew up in both situations where REM in 1999 got the best record deal of all time. I think it was $236 million for 3 albums. 236 million, something like astronomical like that. And then in the year 2000, we had Napster. It's just a different landscape. But
damn, they really hit it right before.
Yeah, they hit the jackpot. But I think what your overarching theme here is just make it. Yes. Make it as an exercise. Don't even worry. If
and that's any hobby. That's anything. It's not even. Don't. If you're bad at music, don't do it. But
you could do it, but don't share it.
Yes, you could be bad at art and share it. That's fine. Like bad at drawing, that's fine. Seeing anyone draw, because I feel like there are certain hobbies that just because you're doing it is already the achievement.
Right.
Music is not.
Right.
Because it's just like you just hit record and like it could be really bad.
I could disagree with that though. Even if you're just doing music just for the fun of it, like maybe don't release it, but do it for you if it's for you.
You know what I mean? Like if you make a sculpture, the fact that you made a sculpture, even if it's ugly, it's like crazy.
Right.
But anyone could just throw on a beat and start freestyling over it. And it's like, yo, come on, man.
Yeah. Just do it, but just don't release it.
Like if you're knitting, that's sick. I don't care if it's good or bad. Knitting is sick. Doing like shit like that. But I don't want to hear the crappy freestyles. I don't want to hear bad stuff. And I'm not saying that to deter you. I'm just saying keep making it
until it's really good.
Yeah, until it's hot. Because some people, there's another thing I tell people when I'm teaching is they're worried about that first song being good. No, that first song is going to suck. Keep making it. And that's how I don't I don't want to sound like one of these guys where it says I don't have writer's block, because it's not like a thing where I'm better than anyone. I do have it, but how you get out of it is you just make something and it's going to sound like crap, but it gets the crap out of your brain.
Yeah.
So I'll make 10 crappy beats, delete them.
Yeah.
Until I get one that I'm like, oh, now it's hot.
There you go.
Because people sit there and be like, this has to be hot. If you sit there and don't do anything and say this has to be hot, you're going to sit there forever. And that's why you don't make nothing.
Right. You got to show up for the muse.
Yeah. Like I will make a really bad beat. Okay, I made this beat. I'm gonna show it to you. But me and Lil love this beat. But
put the mic up to the speaker so you can hear.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
But I think the sentiment is make sure that
they're always worried about it being good or not. It's like, Joe, just make it. Like make 20 songs if one of them. Why do you think these people, every time someone hears, oh, someone made 500 songs to make this album that's 10 songs? Yeah. Because 490 of them probably are trash.
Right.
So it's like they don't just make 10 hot songs. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
If you're Prince or somebody, but it's like most of us aren't.
Jelly Roll is constantly doing it. Jelly Roll is like, I love the way he speaks about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said
I'm not a huge fan of him, but
I'm not a huge fan either. But I'm a huge fan of his.
What does he say? He says he makes a lot of music.
He makes like 300.
Most people
just
do.
Constantly.
I don't make that much, but I'll do like 15, 16, narrow it down to 10 or 9.
Right.
But like I made this beat like not too long ago because I wasn't feeling it. I was in the mode, but I said I have to export something, and I made this, and and me and Lil were just like.
Mozart.
I don't even know. It was like some kind of loop that I found. But like, if I was worried about this being hot, I would have never been done. I called it smiley face emoji music. But it's like, yeah, it's shit like that. Like, just keep like, because I think people don't see recording music as sketching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
That's a sketch.
That's a sketch. Yeah. And then, you're going to maybe continue to finish it, or maybe you're going to throw it out.
Yeah. People do not see it as sketching at all. They see it as, no, this has to be, and especially when it comes to recording. Oh my God, and don't get me wrong, I could do 50 takes or I could do one.
Right.
Whatever one hits. But some people are like, I'll be like, that was a take. That was good. And they'll be like, no, I got to do it again.
Yeah. That's a tough role as a producer too. Yeah. People don't understand is like, if you're just hitting the buttons as the engineer, that's one thing.
Yeah, but I hate that. I don't do that.
Yeah, but your job as a producer is to hit the buttons to record, but also say, know when to tell the artist that that's good, and know when to tell the artist, no, that's not good enough.
I think that what I like to do and what I would like to do, obviously, if you can't be a star, like my main thing would be production and just getting people to make stuff. Like I feel like I could be a type of like Rick Rubin type guy because he doesn't really touch anything. He just gets the vibes.
Right.
And I would get like the motivation. It's like, yo, listen, like this is the joint. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna go do this. What are you inspired by? We're gonna do exercises like I do at the writer's workshop or whatever to get the creative juices flowing just for you to make it. You know,
I think you should make like a webinar series.
And this is another thing. I need a producer for me to be productive. So it's like, I can't sit here and be like, I do this, I do all this, and then not say like, yeah, I could do that. No, I have my own crap. You know,
we all do.
Yeah. So it's like, but then it's like, you just sit here and you come here and then you're like, fuck, I forgot that I'm like, this is what I like to do and like what I'm good at. The album's been done for like weeks.
Oh, really?
But I just haven't been able to record.
Oh, so that's great. So that album, let's talk about that. How are you going to release it? Where is it going to go?
So it's going to be on Mint 400 Records. The title is, I have two titles, and I have this thing going on where I don't know why my first original album was called Dark Ocean, right? And it's dark period ocean. So the D and the O, I've just been using D and O for like every album after. So the next one was Demonic Oasis.
Okay.
And then this one was going to be Destruction Obsession, but it's kind of leaning towards this other what is the other name? Oh, Destiny Oblivion. So obviously they have meanings, but so the Destruction Obsession is more of just like, so I have like two kind of like main things that I don't mix very well. Like some are like introspective music where it's like I'm talking about just like life and like how I'm going through things and dealing with it. And then you have like your critique on the world. So I guess if this album is leaning more towards a critique on the world and what's going on, then it's going to be Destruction Obsession, because it's like I feel like, you know, we have this obsession with destruction and just like destroying things. And then but then if I do the more introspective like self-preservation stuff, then it's going to be Destiny Oblivion, because it's more about just like where am I going and what am I trying to achieve in my life. So those are the two titles that I'm working on.
And when's it going to come out?
That's a good question.
Within this year or next year?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And everyone will be able to find it where?
So it'll be everywhere. I have my website. My website is tronthearcher.com.
Okay.
Everything is there. You can easily search Tron the Archer on any of the streaming apps. It'll be on Mint 400. I'm definitely going to do vinyl. I'm definitely going to do, I'm going to try and do, I'll see what else I can do, but I'm definitely going to do vinyl. It'll be this year for sure. I've realized that in my past, I was able to record and like produce with chaos. Like I had babies and stuff. I did my second album with literally Nova Richie was like in my arms. I'm playing the keyboard. Now I'm like, I need a fucking Oasis jungle, like with like no disturbances. You know what I mean? I'm like, I cannot do it in my house. That's why I haven't recorded, because I'm looking, and I hate commercial studios. I'm not a fan of a guy just sitting there like, another one like that I don't know, who doesn't know what's going on with me. Partly because I know how to do what he's doing, and also I have my own process, which is fine. This is art. Like we're vulnerable. It's not like, hey, ring in my groceries. Like, you know, this is a process that's different for everyone. I'm not a diva or anything. I just have my way of doing things, and I love recording at home. I mean, if I can, but once I start doing anything at home, the kids are like, I want to do it. And I'm like, you don't want to do it when I ask you to do it. Like, I'd love for y'all to start making some beats. Like, I can't make all of them.
Yeah.
You know? But they're like, Dad, can you teach me how to make beats while I'm making a beat? And I'm like, I ask you if you want to do this all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah.
Of course. But did you ever try Johnny Rod in Pomona?
Studio?
Yeah, he's amazing.
No.
Yeah, he's my guy. He's one of my favorite guys to work with. He's got great positive energy. He's super fast.
I'm kind of looking for someone where I could just use the room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably talk to him about that.
Yeah,
All he does all day, every day is record people.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great job.
It's all he does.
Love it. Yeah.
And he loves it. And he goes and he just goes, do, 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 do.
I used to do it. It's the thing where it's like, don't expect me to be like an engineer is like, hey, press the buttons, right? But then there's like also the producer aspect, and some people would want you to be like have your opinion and stuff. And I wanted to be like, you really want my opinion? This shit is like a no. You know what I mean? But I'm the engineer, and it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like being here because it's a job.
Yeah.
And any job, even if you are good at it or whatever, is still a job. So I didn't really like it. I would produce because then that means I feel like I'm involved with the music and I like the music enough to be involved with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So engineering is just, I mean, it's cool. If I could do it to pay the bills, I absolutely would. But I was doing it for like nothing.
Right.
But
he charges like $80 an hour.
Yeah.
Which is inexpensive when you think about it. But he does it all day, every day.
See, my thing is like, I hate the hour.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Not an hour person.
Yeah.
I might sit there for 2 hours just, with the beat playing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
it's
right,
like,
right.
I don't have the budget for my process. If I wanted to go slam 4 songs in an hour, I could, but I wouldn't like it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, what I did to work with him to live within that hour situation is I practiced everything at home such to the point that I knew exactly what it was. Here we get the fire alarm. Let's see. Can you hear it in the cans? You can. You can hear it. This is all right. Anyway, that seems like a good time to wrap this up with Norvin. Hey, Norvin, great talking to you. Thanks so much for doing this. And,
it was great. I didn't even It's funny is like we talk about how much we could talk about it. Like I had zero prep. I was like so busy, and I'm just like, let me go do this thing. And then it's just like, I forgot I can talk about this shit for hours.
I knew you could. What I look for in guests is I look for people who are passionate and can talk.
Oh yeah,
and I knew you could.
And it's good because I like that we did it because it's going to make me actually put some fire in to get this album recorded.
Good for you. Hey, and thank you to the Rock Shop. Thank you. Check out tronthearcher.com. Check out the rockshop.com.
Support the Rock Shop and the kids playing all these gigs and, making their stuff and going out there, and don't complain when the music's loud. Stop complaining when music's loud. Music's been loud for 50 years now. It's over.
Check out Club Andromeda.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Casa del Sol.
Yes.
Shout out to Maureen's.
Yeah.
Turning Point.
Everywhere that's playing
Olives.
music.
Anyone. Prohibition
showing
River.
Art.
Prohibition River's finally having something.
Upstairs.
I'm not sure if it's upstairs.
When Freddie had it was good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I liked it. Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And until the next time, thank you again. Peace out.